First of all, just to say, hope you're all staying safe out there, staying isolated, staying at home, and take care of everyone. So just a wee bit of intro. One thing I noticed, went through yesterday a whole load of footage recorded on the SCL35 in the same paddocks that I recorded the last part of the PARD SA25 Thermal scope review that was out a few weeks ago. And I noticed as I went through the footage, later on in that session, the contrast improved a lot on the recorded footage that you're going to see in a minute. So I actually cut out on the editing suite, binned a whole load of that footage early on that was too dark, and then left the footage in that was later on. I think the reason for the extra dark footage at the start may be simply down to the fact that the thermal scope hadn't sort of cooled down, hadn't basically reached the ambient temperature. Former career was as an engineering surveyor and using precision-like instruments. One of the key things is if you're doing any precision metrology measurement, then you take your theodolite out of the box, you let it acclimatise to the ambient temperature, even if that is cold, before you start measuring, because it avoids getting inaccuracies as the whole thing cools down. And I think as the session went on that night, I think that the whole thermal scope cooled down a bit to the ambient temperature and then worked a lot better. I'm not saying it works better when it's cold. I'm saying that the physical scope, the image was better once the whole thing had cooled down. If it had been a warm day, I would have let the scope warm up to reach the ambient temperature before I used it. It's just a little point. Anyway, so if you go a bit further on in this video, you'll see some good contrasting footage. And I would like to point out, although I couldn't demonstrate the ultra clear mode because Aberdeen's glorious winter didn't come in, the sort of cold sea fog didn't come in that evening or any of the times I was out with the same recording for you, but I've got it on sort of good foundation from Bruce that the ultra clear mode was amazing in sort of conditions that would normally kill off thermal scopes, thermal images. So that's one big plus on the side of the SAIM SCL35. I might even put a still image on here comparing sort of PARD SA25 and SAIM SCL35, looking at the horses when they were fairly close up, because the SCL35, it really does show some amazing shading, some amazing differentiation in the heat that these horses are giving off. So pretty high quality kit and excellent firmware that's within it, obviously. Anyway, so I hope you find this interesting. Especially for those who are considering thermal gear, then this is two honest reviews of two different sets of kit. Regarding the SAIM SCL35 not being quite so good a rifle scope due to pixelation as you use the zoom, there are some reticle issues, but you'll have seen that in part 3 of this video review. One big plus is speaking to Cliff Ray the other day of opticalsolutions.uk. Thanks again for the loan of this, Cliff. And Cliff says there's a new SAIM SCL25 out, and it's got a higher base mag, 1.5 times that of the current version. So a higher base mag means better usefulness as a rifle scope. You won't have to go too far into the digital zoom and suffer too much pixelation to get magnification you're after. We'll get you, as soon as we can get you one of these newer SAIM SCL25s with the higher base mag, we will. And lastly, before honestly, bear with me just 1 second, before we get onto the footage, just to reiterate, anywhere there's anything new out there, before you get to any reviews, you will see the latest of what's out there in the world of night vision and thermal on the UK Night Vision Forum, and I'll put the link to that down below as usual. Anyway, and I'll be back soon with a lot more, including some rat footage to accompany my upcoming May issue of Airgun World magazine. I was back out on the rats. Yay! Back on the same
trigger sticks, Primos trigger sticks tripod, SAIM FX Wildcat, Picatinny rail, and this time I've got the SAIM SCL35 thermal rifle scope mounted, good battery, it's configured to, in the bottom right hand corner screen you can see the video out. I've got the same Yukon MPR recorder, very flash. I've got elastic banded to the side of the scope, and the Bruce bonus cable connecting the SCL35's USB Type-C out to the Yukon MPR input. So I'm looking at the same patch. I've got a big horse to my left, or pair of horses. So a fair bit more detail here. And a pair of rabbits there, about 100 metres away. Times 2, times 3, times 4. Sure enough, if you had a rimfire, you could hit them with a body shot at 100 metres, but it's not exactly going to be a humane headshot because you're just aiming at a white blob. You have to compare and contrast the quality of the two of them on the screen for you. Both sets of recordings will be significantly lower res on the Yukon MPR than they are on the screen I'm looking at. I can see things pretty clearly here. The distance about here, I can see pixelation. I'll just show my LA032 laser rangefinder at this bit of wall in between the two doors, nowhere near any horses of course, and that's 51 metres. You can see the reticle, the white shows up clearly against the dark roof. Here the white becomes invisible against a lighter background, or you can interpolate where it is. It's easy to think you're looking at night vision here. Let's see how the zoom looks at those light switches. It's times 2, times 3, times 4. So look at the static caravan. Move our feet a second. Disabled. This is not ideal. So there's a bit more detail around the windows, a bit more detail of the heat in the roof. All three of these stables in total darkness from the naked eye. So the white glow you see here will be the heat from the horse within each stable. While I'm recording, just spot the horse over here. It's about 100 metres away. Rabbits are playing catch. So, rabbit times 1, times 2, times 3, times 4. Back to 1, that's 2 rabbits 100 metres away, roughly. Horse times 1, times 2, got this cloak on, times 3, times 4. Oh, yeah, there's a rabbit there. That's about 150 metres in here. You see it's there, but you can't see much else. Too pixely. A few more rabbits have appeared over here, 300 metres away. Ah, there's another rabbit. Probably about 50, 60 metres away that.
The same spot I did last night. On the permissions. Put the IL light on. I'm recording with my PARD LRF day and night scope HD. The IR, onboard IR is only on level 1 and is focused. Tight beam, as tight as it goes anyway. I can see a couple of rabbits over there beyond that horse. Now last night I thought this was 100 metres. This is the laser rangefinder. Not far off. The horse is 90. The rabbit's about 105. Distant head is actually 180, 190. That's what I thought was 140 last night. There's a scan left in the distance. Yeah, the furthest. Oh, there's rabbits over there.